Hello everyone, and now welcome to game 3 in the series here on Metopolis between FXO's Lowly versus Strelok. So far, this Terran versus Zerg matchup has been extremely exciting, watching these players go back and forth. Perhaps they train together, being on the same team and all. And with that, we get into the mind games a little bit more quickly. That's one of the best aspects of StarCraft 2, is getting into the mind games and figuring out and trying to figure out what your opponent will be trying to go for. Strelok deciding to open up with the front door supply depot. This does appear to once again to be supply depot, barracks supply depot, and with a barracks supply depot like that, he will be able to add on that reactor and go into reactor Hellion once more. It worked for him in game 2, but is Lowly going to be able to respond and react well in game 3? That is the key question and the key debate now. SCVs just mining back and forth still. We do not see a barracks being placed down. I do expect it. Oh, wait, no barracks yet. Alright, so this is a key indicator. No barracks normally means that we are going to be going for a 15 or 16 command center. The greediest build that a Terran player can utilize. Is he actually going to be going for a 14 command center? Alright, he's going to be going for a 14 command center, delaying his SCVs a little bit. There's that command center now being placed down, and the drone now needs to make sure that there is in fact a command center here. Otherwise, it would be a proxy barracks. Drone now wandering away. What is going to be happening here? Drone now taking a little bit of damage. There is that barracks, and Lowly pretty much knows what is going on already. SCE taking a bit of damage there. The drone still wandering around. Drone still wandering around. Where will he be traveling to next? As the drone perhaps just going to slip through here. He is going to spot the refinery, so this is going to be a command center first into a reactor Hellion play. Not too out of the ordinary. And now, Lowly is going to be forced to come up with his counter move. We do see a spawning pool, we do see an extractor, and based upon the timing, we could see a follow-up with a Roach Warren. Now, we could also see Zergling movement speed. I'm difficult to make any true prediction right now on what Lowly wants to do at this stage. He definitely needs to train up those double queens, and I believe that is going to be what's happening next. Yes, it is. Now training up 2 queens at a time. Strelok has double orbital command upgrades coming in. It looks as though his factory should be coming down momentarily, as we see an SCV now out and doing a bit of scouting. Now, Lowly has not gone for a fast expansion or a quick third in any of the games that I've seen from him in this series. With this, the Zergings are going to try to make their way in and perhaps make do with something. We are going to have 2 Marines down over here. There is the reactor. There is that factory. And all we see so far is just potentially metabolic boosted Lings come out. You can also notice that Lowly is purposely only leaving 2 drones on gas for less diminishing returns. And we are now starting up a quick tech to tier 2. Alright, I am now confused. Unless Lowly now establishes these 2 additional extractors, I can't imagine what Lowly is trying to go for. Any sort of tier 2 tech is very, very gas intensive. And gas intensive tech, while only running on 2 gas, is rather dangerous. You can see he is running on 3 drones on each gas now. So this quick tech to tier 2 could be perhaps Mutilus play. I can't imagine it actually being Hydralus play, and this isn't Heart of the Swarm beta, so it couldn't be Swarm Host or Vipers either. We'll have to see what Lowly actually tries to do here. His timing is going to be just so that he has about 200 gas, maybe not enough minerals though, in order to build a Spire. Alright, 6 drones are being added. What is going on here? Is it going to be a Spire? Yes, it is. He is now adding those 2 additional extractors as well. The Spire does take about 100 seconds to build. So, assuming, which is a very big assumption at this point, Lowly does not go for any additional gas buildings or units, he should have about 400 gas in 400 gas, no, 600 gas. And at the time the Spire is completed, you can see now he's already sitting on 300 gas. He could actually get up to about 700 gas if he's very careful. No, that was actually Strelok. All right, so Strelok is the one that was sitting on a large amount of gas. And now we are going into a Banshee. The Banshee is already flying out. Does Lowly spot this? Yes, he does. And Lowly spotting that early Banshee is going to be absolutely huge. We now see double armory coming in as well, as Hellions are not going to be able to really push through here. Unlike the last game where Strelok had just massed Hellions and broke through this front door, that is definitely not going to be the case here. All right, here, what's going to be happening? The Spire is already up, and now Strelok knows something is awry. He cannot believe that his opponent actually went for a fast Spire, as we now see an Overseer off over there. That one Overseer not going to be spotting any cloaked Banshees, as I believe cloaking research has been stopped. We are now going into a factory, and with that double factory, I do expect Strelok to now try to go into mass Thor. 2 Thors at each position should be more than enough. Strelok really responding over the top by getting 2 additional missile turrets as well. He does not want to fall prey to these Mutalisks, but I believe these Mutalisks will just lose their stings, so to speak, once those Thors are on the field. A Thor now being added here. 2 additional tech labs could be coming in. Hellions now taking a bit of damage, as the Vikings do have very good range. Now in comes some Vikings and some Marines. Attacks the Mutalisks, trying to take down something. Doesn't look like they will be able to do very much. And now Lowly is in trouble. Lowly was hoping to use a surprise tactic by getting the Spire, and then by utilizing that Spire for harassment. You can see that whoever has the larger army right now, which is the gas efficient army, is Lowly, and he is a bit behind. He cannot engage anywhere. You can see that there is 2 Thors already being trained. The Thors are going to be 1-1 upgraded momentarily. Meanwhile, Strelok is now once again going into that triple factory, double tech lab, single reactor build that we saw earlier. Blue Flame Tech could be coming in around the corner, so could Siege Tech. I do expect Hellions to be trained during this time in order to get the additional researches on these tech labs. All right, a small squadron of Vikings now on the move. There we go. Small squadron of Vikings now on the move, and they are just hunting for overlords. We are sitting on 110 supply compared to 107, but the unit composition of Strelok just seems that much better. Getting the Thors, getting the Vikings, even though the Thors do move relatively slow, with the Hellions nearby, the Zerglings are not going to really be that much of an issue. You can see them all getting taken down here, as there is also even 1 Banshee, perhaps to add in a little bit of extra DPS. Banshee's very, very efficient DPS units, dealing, I believe, 24 damage, almost, or doing 20 damage a second. Some of the better ones out there, as we now see the Vikings are actually even going into ground mode. This Hellion, Viking, SCV, Thor all in may be very effective if it wasn't for these infestors. The SCVs are on auto repair, yes, and it will keep some of these units alive, absorbing and tanking a lot of that damage. Hellions may end up exploding. There goes another one, but I believe the attack force, with the addition of the Vikings, just may simply be too much. These Vikings are dealing 24 damage a second. They're actually much more, 12 damage a second. Very effective at taking down multiple units here, as the Thors are just squeezing and pushing their way in. Even without Blue Flame Tech, only with the level 1 weapon upgrades on these Hellions, the damage is still racking up so quickly. All these drones are now down. Infestors may be able to get off some infested Terran eggs, but that is pretty much going to be it. The Thor now out of position here. 1 Thor will go down, but is it going to be too little too late, as Strelok looks like he's not going to be able to finish the job, but he has already broken the line. Banshee now coming. Banshee, the only single unit left. Spoke too soon, as the infested Terrans do hatch. We are now sitting on 3 bases to 3 bases, or sorry, 3 bases to 2 bases. Lowly in a bit of trouble here. All right, infestors, roaches, zerglings, infested Terrans all coming about. Hellions now looking to perhaps come in and do a drive-by flame against all of those poor zerglings and drones. 21 attack upgrade. Infestors, oh, do they have the armor upgrades? Yes, they do. Is the infestors? Yes, one infestor does go down. The drones are now in trouble as you see the damage being dealt. So much drone damage. All the drones are lining up, but the Hellions are not going to be able to finish that off at all. 117 to 115. Harvester count is 64 to 45 as the Hellions now push their way out across the field a little bit too far. Perhaps should be regrouping for that next attack. Speaking of regrouping for that next attack will also throw in some siege tanks. Siege tech has yet to be researched though, but out of all the researches, siege tech does research relatively quickly, only 80 seconds. So only 20 seconds more than actually training of a Thor. All right, roaches and infestors perhaps trying to launch a counterattack. One Banshee looking to dwindle in numbers before anything really gets too dicey. That Banshee, oh, it is going to take down another infestor there, and now back away. All of the infested Terran eggs are actually in the wrong spot as the Thors are countering all of these roaches. Siege tanks with siege tech now coming in. Beautiful, beautiful mech play by Strelok as these Thors are just doing massive points of damage. Roaches now on the ground attempting to retreat. The Thor now pushing back here, and they will get taken down once more. Off over here, we see the roaches trying to perhaps get in a little bit more worker kills. We are up to 26 worker kills by lowly, but it looks like Strelok will be able to hold. Harvester count is now once again even, and after all of this back and forth, we are still at an even pacing. And on top of that, we see that lowly actually has a large bank of minerals. Is he larva limited at this point? It looks like that is the case, as we are now also going into ravens. SCV is now trying to perhaps harvest off over here, but the planetary fortress is not up in time, and this may be exactly what lowly needs in order to get back in this game. Catching a bunch of SCVs, a couple and a bunch of SCVs all in transit, and that was bad there. All right, Thor's siege tanks, SCVs all regrouping together. This siege tank does need a little bit of repairing as we are taking a look at the Banshees. The Banshees are now moving out. Where are they going to be traveling to? There are double spine crawlers here, but there are absolutely no spore crawlers. That does mean that the Banshees will be able to one-shot these drones, and drones are falling rather quickly. There you go, getting up to the worker kill count. It is a bad day to be a worker here in this Metopolis. And doesn't that always seem to be the case, as drones and SCVs are getting destroyed. You can see those drones, how quickly they are falling. The kill count up to 53 now, as we are now inside the main. All right, one spore crawler does go down. A second spire is now being added. So a second spire, wow. Are we going for further upgrades? That would make sense if there was actually a hive tech on the field. There we go, there's hive tech. And now perhaps level 1 weapons upgrade could be coming in as well. Raven still being added. We can see that there's currently 1 Raven in the air. And please remember, Ravens no longer need a research. That Seeker Missile. That Seeker Missile is such a powerful ability. And what are we going to see on the far side? Siege tanks now coming back on the far side here. Thor is battling up against the roaches. The roaches have numbers. And will the roaches be able to finish off the Thors? Not a good flank though. The queens are a little bit too far away, as the siege tanks are getting reinforced. There's a couple transfusions, but I believe that's going to be too little too late. And Lowly, who worked so hard to get back into this game after losing an additional 10 workers, is now in trouble, as he is now down 50 supply. Roaches are not going to be able to get off any free units off over here. The siege tanks are simply too much in number, upgraded at 2-2 upgrades. A group of SCVs just constantly on auto repair, refreshing and making this army just look oh so much more dangerous as the game rolls on. All right, where is that Raven? Raven now making its way in. We are going to see the Ravens perhaps do a little bit of scouting here once more, taking a look around. The Raven Raven's really saving up on scanner sweeps. As I say that, Strelok throws on a scanner sweep. Alright, so, oh, there is a fungal growth catching some of those SCVs. If another fungal growth goes down, no, the SCVs will actually be able to repair each other all once more. And the siege tanks now in siege mode is pretty much going to draw a line in the sand. There is nothing that can really be done here. These siege tanks are going to play hopscotch forward. You can see Strelok just moving forward with these siege tanks, and the siege tanks are all just covering each other, and now the infestors are hoping that this can hold. These siege tanks back over here, what's going to be happening? Roaches now making their way in. Siege tanks, however, shelling before any units can come back in. Strelok, however, or lowely now, however, now opting to do a counterattack, and this counterattack should actually catch some of these units off guard. A fair number of roaches are off over here, but that one Thor was able to deal a lot of damage. Siege tanks are now pushing their way forward. Is it going to be enough? And Raven is still in the air. Is it going to get shot down as the infested Terrans are now still being launched? Roaches going after an orbital command. SCV is trying to repair it. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of the map, siege tanks still pushing in. We are at 158 to 155, and this is such an even matchup, but 72 workers compared to 59. What is happening here as the SCVs are now looking to take down more and more units? All right, the Thor just bringing down the hammer and shutting down many of the roaches as this base has now been shut down. All right, it looks as though lowly will lose his third. Meanwhile, so does a Strelok, but Strelok losing his third doesn't matter nearly as much as Strelok already had established up a fourth base. Alright, one Thor is off over here. Level 3 weapons upgrade, dealing dealing 78 damage per attack, almost able to or two shot a roach, as we see the scanner sweep, and now they will be trying to land. Alright, Thor, siege tank, not that many Hellions. This movement is coming in, and lowly gives the GG. Strelok takes game 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for game 4. I don't believe I'll be able to cast it today, but stay tuned for game 4. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.